West Ham 0, Tottenham 3 at the London Stadium. And if you are a West Ham fan, you are either left scratching your head if you stayed till the end of 90 minutes, or walking out of that stadium during the course of the game wondering whether your club will still be in the Premier League come May. Do you sack Graham Potter? Do you vote with your feet and try and get rid of the board? Because as a club right now, you are an entire mess. And the fans have had enough. You know, there was the green shoots following the 3-0 win against Nottingham Forest just before the international break. Many fans hoping that Graham Potter had got this side to turn a corner. Well, it was very much back to square one on Saturday against Tottenham. You know, and if you really are honest and look at the Nottingham Forest game, Forest weren't really at it. They had their own problems with Nuno as well behind the scenes. And West Ham were good and capitalised on a really poor 10 minutes for Nottingham Forest to win that game 3-0. But look, they were so bad against Tottenham. So bad. Tottenham, look, back to winning ways following their loss on the eve of the international break at home to Bournemouth in what was arguably the poorest performance so far under the Thomas Frank regime. In the league, he's now won 75% of his games as well. And Tottenham look good, second in the Premier League before Liverpool face Burnley on Sunday. And you've got to be impressed. You've got to be impressed. And the biggest thing that continues to impress me is the organisation that Thomas Frank has brought to this Tottenham side. The ever-calming presence as well. There's a clear direction of the way he wants his Tottenham players to play. There's a patience to their football as well. Remember, this game was 0-0 at half-time. And I wondered, you know, going into the half-time break, how Thomas Frank might react with his players. We've seen how he is in the dressing room behind the scenes previously. And I think he would have said to those Spurs players, they're there for the taking, but you've got to go through the gears. You've got to up it a little bit, but be patient as well because the goals will come. There's so many frailties to this West Ham team. Be quicker in your transitions. Be quicker on the ball. Be better at set pieces. You can clearly see Tottenham are working at set pieces. 13 corners in this game. They're looking, dare I say, at their North London rivals. Arsenal, Chelsea have done the same this season as well. There are goals to be had from set pieces and they can win you games. And Tottenham look to be looking to exploit that now against a West Ham team that are shipping goals for fun. Both teams in the first half had their chances, more half chances, I would say, other than the one goal disallowed by VAR. And to me, it's another VAR travesty, another shocking moment in the world of the Premier League. And if I'm honest now, I want rid of VAR. I'd rather go back and talk about the controversies for goals being millimetres offside, for tackles being missed, you know, because VAR is ruining football. And the biggest problem is, you know, it's the human element of VAR. The technology maybe is there, but I am not about the humans that have to control it on a Saturday. Tell me why, and I'd hope even West Ham fans, as much as you hate Tottenham, how does Christian Romero's goal in the first half on 18, 19 minutes, whatever it is, get ruled out? Corner into the box, header from Romero, West Ham like statues, 6s and 7s. Romero adjudged to have put two hands on the back of the West Ham defender and gained an advantage in order to score a goal. Now, I'm accepting of this if there's consistencies week in, week out in the Premier League. Take your mind back to Fulham, Manchester United. What happened? Goal. Same style, push on the back, but it was given by VAR. And to be honest, if there is a push, it is absolutely minimal from Romero, who I think has improved immensely since he's taken the captain's armband under Thomas Frank. The calmness of Thomas Frank seems to have washed off onto Christian Romero. He looks a completely different player for Tottenham this season. So he should never have had his goal disallowed, but it went into the break 0-0. And whatever Frank said to his players, Spurs started the second half so quick, so sharp. And they took the lead from a set piece. Xavi Simons out on the left-hand side, in swinging corner, picked out the unmarked Papa Sarr at the back post, who bullets it back across goal through the arms of Hermansen. West Ham players jumping on the line, trying to keep it out, but it's into the roof of the net. And Tottenham lead, and there's no way back already for West Ham. The heads drop. The heads are gone. You can see there is such little confidence in this Graham Potter side. And 8 minutes later, that was further compounded when Thomas Souček gets himself sent off for a lunging tackle on Paulinho. Studs up, down the shins, can have absolutely no argument. Shocking tackle, no malice, but you expect far better from a person with that much Premier League experience. And West Ham just never recovered. From the resulting free kick, Romero plays a direct long ball over the top. You know, and it's not Stoke City long ball. It's a delivered pass, sweeping ball over the top. Bergvall tracks it, running through, and connects with a looping header over Hermansen, you know, who is FIFA 23 style, diving through the air, but cannot keep the ball out as it drops into the back of the net. And it is game over at that point for West Ham. A mass of fans exit the stadium. Bergvall, who has impressed me no end for Tottenham Hotspur. Player of the season last year as well. Thomas Frank spoke so highly about him after the game. He does look so good in a Tottenham shirt. Instrumental in the way they play through the middle. And if he can continue to add goals to his game, then there are serious levels for Bergvall in this Tottenham side. Really good goal from the Swedish international. West Ham fans will question Hermansen in goal, who hasn't been a good signing. They spent 20 million euros on him in the summer, and he's been anything but consistent in that goal. West Ham look worse at the back with him in goal. Fabianski brought back in on a free transfer. He might be 40 years old, but I would put him straight back in between the sticks. Hermansen is awful. 14 shots from Spurs, 5 on target. And as I said, let me bring him up on screen. Xavi Simons was excellent, I thought, for Tottenham on his debut. Played 71 minutes in the game, a 7.6, 1 assist, had a shot as well. Involved in the passes, involved in the link-up play. Wanted the ball. Drawing fouls as well. We know how important they are if you're focusing on set pieces as well. He's going to be a really, really good player for Tottenham Hotspur, that's for sure. And it's going to be interesting to see whether or not he always plays on the left, or is he going to get in behind the striker at times? Is he going to be given that freedom, that license to roam? But he was very, very good on his debut. The others that impressed me, Romero, as I mentioned, completely different defender. A leader now with that armband on. You know, the red mist that he used to carry appears to be gone. He seems to be thriving on the opportunity to lead this Tottenham team. You know, he's been given a new long-term deal as well. And alongside Van de Ven, there really isn't many better centre-half partnerships in the Premier League. Dare I say it, I still think Saliba and Gabriel are probably the best at your North London rivals Arsenal. Van Dijk and Konate last season were very good. Konate's dropped off a little bit this year. They're probably toe for toe for second place with how good they are, how consistent they are. And it was that man, Van de Ven, on 64 minutes who smashed in a low finish from about 12 yards out. Keeper had absolutely no chance, and he ran off to celebrate with the Tottenham fans, his second Premier League goal for the club. Tottenham were brilliant in the second half, controlling, dominating, quick, an aerial threat, everything West Ham would like to be at the moment was in this Tottenham side. And as I mentioned during the course of this, Simons looked good. Kudus looks good. He would have wanted to win against his former club. You know, I question why Tell started as the 9. Richarlison's been really good this season for Tottenham. His work rate, I think, has been second to none in that Tottenham side. question tell, left out of the Champions League squad. People have been at me in various comments. Make sure you guys are commenting on today's video. Make sure you drop a like on this video if you haven't done so already. Make sure you're subscribing to the Footy Social Club as well. But for me, Matthias Tell's time at Tottenham is limited. You know, you've got Kolo Muani that was on the bench. I expect him to play. I just don't get Matthias Tell. I don't really know what Tottenham saw from their loan with him last season. Yes, he's young. Yes, it could be too early to judge. But are Tottenham really in a position where they've got time? They need to get themselves back in the Champions League. They're looking very good this season. Plenty of goals. They've only conceded the single goal as well against Bournemouth. You know, Thomas Frank will be delighted with what he has seen so far this season from his Tottenham side. You know, and another 3-0. And they've got good fixtures coming up. Villarreal in the Champions League. You know, they've got Wolves up soon in the Premier League as well, who have been awful. Tottenham can start to build momentum in this Premier League season. Give themselves a fantastic opportunity to be in amongst the Champions League spots, heading towards the next international break in October. For West Ham, it's back to the drawing board. For Graham Potter, how long do you give him? You've never really had a new manager bounce, if I'm being honest. You know, 2-3 games. And if you don't get anything, then you surely have to look at changing your manager. There are managers available as well with pedigree. Jose Mourinho, he's talked about being back in the Premier League, looking after a club down and towards the bottom of the table. He would galvanise the West Ham faithful. Nuno Espirito Santo, experience with Wolves, experience with Forest. He took Forest over when they were near the bottom of the league under Steve Cooper. Either of those, I think, is probably better than Graham Potter, whose stock levels have fallen. Dare I say it, Graham Potter looks like a fraud of a Premier League manager now. Guys, do me a huge favour. Drop a like on this video. Get yourselves in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about West Ham 0, Tottenham 3. Who goes where? And don't forget, if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to the Footy Social Club. 74% of you that watch my content on a daily basis are not subscribers. Please help the Footy Social Club grow. We picked up nearly 300 subscribers in the last week alone. The target is 30,000 come May. So make sure you're subscribing to the Footy Social Club. I'll see you on the next one.